Hello, and welcome back to Girlfriend Minute. I am Char,
And I'm Pascal.
and today I think we talked about family relationships and going to talk about the dynamics.
Um, See who's in our families and what kind of relationship we have with each other.
We both have had and suffered through some great losses,
Yes, definitely.
you know, as we age. Of course, everyone else does too. And then for me, my childhood was a little different than yours. Your parents stayed married, and you grew up in a married household, whereas mine got divorced, and that changed the dynamics of everything.
Yes.
And having to cope and deal at a young age and get the days and not really have anyone to talk to, including the family. So I don't know. How do you want to do this? So I am one of three girls. I was
And
born in Florida. My two older siblings were born in Indiana. Um, I had a mom and a dad, of course, obviously. They got divorced when I was 9. My father was an alcoholic. He was verbally and physically abusive. And my mother basically left in fear of her life. I have two older sisters, Camille and Colette. Colette, unfortunately, passed away. It will be 15 years on Sunday that we lost her. And when we lost her, that really changed the dynamics of the family. So the divorce changed the dynamics of the family, and then losing my middle sister really affected the family, obviously. Not
right.
in a good way. So, and then your family.
So I am one of three. I am the oldest, and then I have a sister and a younger brother. We're each about 5 years apart. And I was actually born in Beirut, Lebanon. And we moved to the United States when I was about 5.5, 6 years old. My sister was just born. Um, we came to Pennsylvania, to Harrisburg actually, first, and then we ended up moving to Florida when I was in third grade. My gosh, I don't even remember what year that was. I don't know, 80 maybe? I don't know. And then my brother was actually born in Florida, and we stayed there till I graduated high school. So we were there for about 11 years or so. Um, and yeah, my parents stayed married until we lost my mother about 2 years ago. So, and that definitely changed the dynamics of the family in my household. My brother went into a deep depression for 2 years, ended up staying on the couch and basically sleeping all day, not doing anything, while his wife and I basically had to push through the day because he had 4 kids and I had a restaurant to run. We had that to deal with, and it was already depressing enough that, my mother had passed. I had a very close relationship to my mother. I was her caregiver, and basically I did everything that she needed. Took her to the doctor, went shopping, helped her shower if she needed it, helped her get dressed, things like that. Um, and yeah, definitely changes the dynamic of the house. The house is way different now. Like I can't even explain it, to be honest with you. It just everything ever since my mom passed away just feels so different.
It definitely does. And it's
Feels
not
like
always.
no, it feels dead. It's like you go into the house and I see her picture, up on the wall, and I don't know who put that there, but sometimes it disturbs me. Like I just can't look at it. Like it's right there.
So I'm kind of the opposite. So my mother passed 9.5 years ago. It'll be 10 years in January. I am the youngest of three, so there's quite an age gap. I'm 9 and 12 years younger than my older sisters. Young, yeah, younger than they are. They are 3 years apart, 2.5, 3 years, and I'm 9 and 12 years. Oops, baby.
Yeah.
you know, and with the divorce, I was still in the house. The older siblings were out. I was 9. That put Colette at 18-ish. She was legally allowed to be out, and my oldest sister Camille had married, so she had been out of the house. So I was stuck. I got to deal with all of it, and I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I just, got through it. I would just, I don't know how I handled it. No one seemed to be like, how's she doing? So I just got through it. My dad was not a nice man. He was verbally and physically abusive, even a little bit to me because I was left the house. And my mom never got over the abuse. She held on to that to the very bitter end, which made her miss out on a lot of good things in life, unfortunately. And then when my sister passed, which was unexpected. I mean, my sister was sick, but her passing and the way it happened was very unexpected. Um, it made her even more depressed and more not wanting to be here. And then when my mom passed, that totally changed everything. I don't have a relationship with my little sister. Never have. When I lost Colette, I lost my sister. Um, and I have a bunch of printed pictures of Colette, and I keep saying I'm going to make a collage, I'm going to put it up, and I don't have a single picture of her up. And I've been saying it for 15 years. And kind of get mad at myself because I don't forget what she looked like, that type of thing. And
Right, right.
have her up like she existed instead of not like she didn't exist, because she does. She did exist, she was here. She was my sister, and she was, out of the three of us, her and I were the closest. And she has children, and her one child, Nicole, the youngest, has children, so she would be a grandma. And so, it kind of, as the anniversary approaches this weekend, it's a little sad. I've outlived her. That's a little haunting.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a little bit scary when you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, she was 44 when we had to remove her from life support. I'm now 50. So when I turned 44, that was a really weird birthday for me. And then when I hit 45, I was like, oh, I've outlived her by a year now, and his birthday's the day before mine. Her birthday's June 24th, mine's June 25th, and we're 9 years apart. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's just weird. That weird stuff happens
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. I get it. I
Yeah.
I haven't even gone through my mother's clothes and it's been 2 years.
Well,
There's
I think
still
all years to go through any of her stuff and do all
yeah.
that. I don't think that's uncommon. I think that's pretty common.
Well, everybody keeps telling me, like, come on. And my brother was pushing me during that time that he was depressed. And he was always like, come on, you need to go through mom's closet and you need to get rid of her clothes because I can't walk in there and all of this stuff. Well, he doesn't even think, like, what about me? Well, how do you think I feel?
Well, probably with how he was feeling at the time, that probably was a thought in his mind as to help him heal or make him feel better.
Oh,
He
yeah,
didn't
of course.
look at it or see it. So when you're in that depressed state, you're not thinking beyond that box of yourself. I went through a depression after losing Colette. I never lost anyone close to me, and it didn't hit me right away. And I started having trouble sleeping at night and only sleeping a few hours. And I come home from work and put myself to bed and take care of the children, which is so much because I'm normally 100 miles an hour
Right,
all the time. I don't sit all that
right.
much. And one of the eye doctors I worked for at the time diagnosed situational depression. And he promised to give me a week's worth of Ambien if I went to a doctor of his choosing for the treatment of depression. And I was just looking at him like, really? He's like,
Right.
really? He was right.
Yeah, yeah,
It
they usually are.
was like, your eye doctor diagnosed you. I'm like, he's not even my eye doctor. It just worked for me.
Yeah, seriously.
To know
No, but
something
I
is
mean,
wrong.
you're right. Yeah, he probably didn't even think about how I feel. He also has what they call borderline personality disorder. So he's pretty narcissistic when it comes to feelings. So that
Yeah.
kind of added on to that. Um, but I mean, like she passed during the COVID time and I was the one in the hospital going in and out every day for months and months and months at a time until I brought her home. And then we had brought her home for a little while and then something ended up going wrong. Then we had to go back to the hospital again. And then after that, it was like that was it. It was like close to the end. But that nobody asked me how it must have been when I was there, in and out of the hospital, just basically watching someone die in front of your face.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. It really is. But I know, and I know it's a part of life, and I know it happens, but sometimes some things are more traumatic than others. So,
It is. You have one mom. I do miss my mom. Sometimes I have moments where I miss her a lot, and sometimes I'm okay with it because she was 77 when she passed. It's not like my sister Colette. That still
yeah,
haunts. She didn't make it to her full potential. You know,
yeah,
she,
she was so young.
yeah, she was so sick on and off for 18 years. There were times she did a month in the hospital at a time. And I would go make sure she, ate. So I'd like make stuff at home that I could take into the hospital because, they'd let her sleep through meals and whatnot. So
Sure.
um, the oldest sister didn't do stuff like that. And, but like I said, Colette and I were the closest out of the three. And when we lost her, it really just showed me who everyone's true colors were in the family.
Sure, of course. That's usually when it comes out.
Yeah, and it totally changed everything, which
Yeah,
then affected my children. And, it's really just crappy.
it is. It is crappy, and then and coming from just to give you a little background from Middle Eastern perspectives, coming from like a Lebanese background, um, your well, her brothers or her sisters would always call me because I was the main person, and then they would always be like, "Well, why don't you try this, or why don't you do that, or let's try this, or let's do that, or let's." And then when you're there and going through all this, like you don't want to hear all that. Like, can you just be quiet? So
Right.
it's not just like my family, it's like outside of the family because the dynamics of our family includes everyone. It's not just us.
Yeah.
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 So it's like everybody's attacking you left and right and left and right and left and right and you don't know what the heck is going on right now. So,
Yeah. I mean, you're stuck in the middle. You're trying to make the best decisions you can make for her.
yes.
And everyone is coming at you different directions with questions and concerns and their opinion, but they don't want any part of it.
No, absolutely not.
Falls in your lap, and then ultimately, like, well, she could have done this or she should have done that. Oh, really? You think so?
Right,
you know?
exactly. And who are you are to tell me, like, who are you? And I mean, I know that you're her sister or I know that you're her brother, but come on. Like,
Yeah.
she's my mom, you know? Just the same
Well,
as
and
your
that's,
sister. That's your sister.
yeah. You're the distant family is distant family. They're not here in the everyday.
Correct.
They're not. So they think they are, or they hear a little tidbit of something and automatically they think that includes them, but it doesn't. you know,
No,
it
it doesn't. Not all the time. Like once in a while, maybe it might include you if like your sister allows you to. You know,
yeah.
that's between you and her. But when it comes to the immediate family, like, we're there, like you said, all the time. So I don't know. It's step back, you know?
Find a place and step back.
Yeah,
Support the needs it having to make some of the bigger decisions, the tough
exactly.
decisions. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know. it's a shame. I sit here and look now, and I have, the grandson, and he's a year, and he's just as cute as can be, and sweet as can be, and we have no real family for him. I don't. On my side, I don't. I haven't talked to my oldest sister since my mother passed, and I walked out with my portion of her ashes. That's going to be 10 years coming up in a year.
Oh, wow, that's a long time.
My kids don't care for my oldest sister. I mean, my daughter sat there and told me in her house while I was waiting for my portion of the ashes, whispering quietly, I know she's your sister, but I've never liked her. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. You can share that with me. That's okay.
Yeah.
I get it because she's not really warm and fuzzy, and she's very insecure and has to be in control of everything, even wanting to boss me around. And I'm just not even sure sometimes how we are related.
Yeah, sometimes exactly. Sometimes I feel like I'm the black sheep of the family. Like I just don't fit in.
The family. I'm probably too brutally honest, and they like to maintain this fake image of who they are, and they're just not those people. And I don't know. It's she was. We look similar. I look more like my middle sister, and I'm built more like my oldest sister. So we look similar. You can tell we're sisters, but she got the Italian nose. So
She got the big nose. That's what you're saying. She got that big nose.
than me.
It's okay. We have an Arabic nose, so I get it.
It's not quite like the Italian one.
No, trust me, it is. You should have seen my grandpa's honker. His was big.
It's got the, anyways.
Yes.
But
off the subject a little bit, but yeah.
There's, but it's sad in other ways. It's sad in other ways. Yeah, Colette and I, because Colette had an autoimmune disease, and would always tell me she wasn't going to live, as long as I would live. So she really expected to pass in her 50s, early 60s. She wasn't going to have the same life expectancy. She was on dialysis, and I was not a match to give her a kidney, and so we had started the LifeLink process. I think it's called LifeLink over in Tampa. I filled out my paperwork because it's very much a family involved thing. You are going to be put on a transplant list.
Yeah,
everyone,
of course.
Just the person getting the transplant. If the husband can't take her to an appointment, which one of you is stepping up to make sure she gets where she needs to be?
Right.
That type of thing.
And your other sister didn't also qualify to give her a kidney, or was a match, or did she try?
No, we were not matches, and the doctors in the hospital actually had said it's pretty common for family not to be.
Okay.
It's pretty common. So, we were not matches. So, anyway, she, we started the process, and then she ended up kind of having an infection, got kind of carried away, and then they didn't give her dialysis in the hospital. She started to fill up fluids, and you do around in your own fluids, and so she started to panic, and then they put her on a vent, and they put it in a PICC line, and she had a massive heart attack, and it just kind of went downhill from there, and eventually we just had to take her off life support. But it was tragic and horrible, and I used to tell her, you can't die on me because you can't leave me with this so-called family, these people.
Right. That's funny that you mentioned that, because I talk to myself sometimes, and I always like talk in the, I'm like, Mom, why did you leave me? Like, you left me here with all these crazy people. Like, what am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do with these people? So yeah, it is crazy, and it's Colette and I were the tomboy out of the three of us, and the oldest was more like, is every hair in place?
I see. Yeah. That's probably why you two got along so well, is because you were very similar.
Yeah, we're very similar in that sense. So, and I lost all that when she died, and then everyone tried to remain a family for my mom, and then she died, and it just from there. And the thing with my oldest sister and her family is, if it's not in their, I don't know how you say it, view or their perspective or their ideas or how they think it should be, you're wrong. You're not allowed to
Oh,
be,
yes, yes.
So and
Yeah, you
everything's wrong.
basically have to think like them and be like them, or else you don't count.
See, nobody likes them. I think we used to tell me, oh gosh, you're not like your oldest sister. You're so much more nicer.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
People started telling me that at the age of 10. So I had people in my life that were like surrogate parents to me because my dad wasn't around. I didn't see my dad because he was an alcoholic and he was verbally and physically abusive, and he scared me. And rightfully so. I was at the scene of some of that a little bit, and that's a little bit was more than enough. And I met the people living on the beach. And ironically, she raised seahorses too, which I started doing when I was 10. And I met them when I was 10. And he took me to get my driver. I did all the fatherly things. I do not feel deprived in that department at all. I got to travel with him, have some really neat experiences that kids my age were not having. And, started scuba diving at age 11 and snorkeling. And they would take me on these trips. And because of them, I have great family memories that I would not have had because my mom had to work 3 jobs to support me, different things. So, I had these experiences. And she would introduce me as, this is Camille's little sister, but she's not like Camille.
Oh my gosh.
And like 10 sitting there going, I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah.
As I got older, out, but
Well, I mean, at least you had them though, to do fun things with you, like parents are supposed to do with their kids. Um,
yeah.
you know, so that's good. But I do want to tell you, like, I mean, I was very shy back then in the third grade and stuff, so I didn't really talk too much. Not like I do now. Now you can't shut me up. But anyway, um, everything that you were going through, you I did not um I did not see it. Like you didn't when
Yeah.
you were at school, like you just were like my friend at school, you know what I mean? Like you didn't you didn't I don't know, you didn't show all the pain and all that was going on with your family at the time. So,
I think for me, school was an escape, and any extracurricular activities I got into was an escape. And I also didn't want to tell people.
yeah,
It's they're little, young, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. It's embarrassing.
right.
And then, already the people in the neighborhood knew my mom had left and stuff. So they're talking at their dinner table, and there's kids at the dinner table. So I just didn't want to be the topic of discussion because back then people didn't get divorced. And, it was kind of a shock. I didn't know there was anything really wrong with my family until I woke up that morning and my mom had left,
Okay.
fear of her life. I mean, I knew, but I didn't. Like, I didn't have people sleep over and stuff. I slept over at other people's houses and stuff. But she didn't have people over because I knew, we like walking on eggshells. He's come home, he's getting in a good mood. I need to stay by my mom to kind of protect her. Or, is it okay for me to go watch TV in my room? I
Right.
mean, it was you gauged it day by day. I did not want to be the topic of conversation and gossip. I wanted a normal life. And, I looked over my shoulder to the day I turned 18 because I never knew if he was going to pop up. I mean, my guidance counselor in high school was one of his drinking buddies at a bar on Highland Avenue in Largo.
Oh,
And he would
wow.
come up, hey, I saw your dad at the bar last night. I'm like, oh, I got to go. I'll talk to you later. I bail. And go the opposite way. I
Right,
mean,
right.
I don't want there to be any communication between him and I. I'm certainly not going to type anything so you can run back to my dad. And I just didn't want that kind of negative attention. Everything in my world was already falling apart. I didn't need any more. I didn't want to be the topic at the dinner table.
Right, sure. And that makes sense. I mean, why would you want to be like then that kind of puts you on the spot, and then everybody's going to want to know what's happening, what's going on, and you know.
And then they feel sorry for you. I didn't want to be felt sorry for. I just wanted to be
Right.
normal and
Right.
go to the roller skating, ride the bicycle, and whatnot. I didn't want the attention because, oh, her parents are going through a divorce. Let her eat over.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I didn't want any of that. I just did not want any of that. I just wanted to enjoy childhood the best that I could. So I kind of made that happen the best that I could for myself.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing you could do. And
Do you?
I guess by going to those people and spending time with them, that kind of helped you through it a little bit.
Well, ironically, I don't know if you remember, like, when I was 9 in the fourth grade, I didn't go to school for about 6 or 7 weeks because I fell out of that tree and shattered my elbow. And the teachers at Nona come to the house and teach me. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember.
no, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. So I had fallen out of the tree, shattered my elbow, and they would not put my arm in a full cast because they're trying to set it, even though it was shattered, without doing surgery on me because they didn't want to scar me. And so they didn't want me getting jostled at school, so I had to stay at home. And our teachers would come to my house and teach me every day after school.
I know that you weren't there, and then when you came back though, didn't you have like a cast or you had something on your arm?
I off studying on. I was going to physical therapy because after the cast, I couldn't unbend my arm. I had to go to
Right.
physical therapy, and so I wasn't allowed to really participate in PE. I could like jump rope, and not do my
Yeah,
arm
I
all the way.
remember. I remember some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so most people didn't realize why I disappeared for so many weeks. Well, that's what happens when you use your grip on a rope in a tree that's really tall and you're little and you're sliding down and hit the ground
Yeah.
pretty hard on. You shatter your elbow and whatnot. And
Right.
so, um,
Oh
yeah,
my
so that
gosh,
was
that
fourth grade.
takes me way back. Holy cow.
Yeah, I know. And then fifth grade, I got that seahorse off the dock, and Mr. Hall was helping me with the seahorse in the tank. And I remember like animals got loose, snakes, and they were chasing each other around Monona. We weren't allowed to have live animals anymore. I had to take my seahorse home.
Right. Right.
I had to learn how to raise the seahorse. We didn't have the internet back then on my own. And I did.
Yeah.
I figured it out, read some books and I figured it out. And then before you know it, I had a small arm seahorses, different colors and
Yeah.
different things.
See? How
And
cool is that?
that accumulated a lot. That took up a lot of my time. And I spent a lot of time hanging off that dock, catching food and stuff. And so when typical girls my age were hanging out with the boys on the corner and stuff, I was hanging off the dock or I was 50 miles offshore fishing for grouper. I mean, I just didn't care to do the typical stuff, and all that stuff was always a great escape for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's understandable. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was opposite of you
So,
when I was a little kid like that. We weren't allowed to do much of anything. My parents were very strict. So basically, I didn't spend my childhood doing normal things that, regular kids would do, or I should say like American kids would do, I guess. Um, because we just stayed home. I was taught, I don't know, when I was 9 years old, 10 years old, every weekend we just fixed our room, we cleaned the house, cleaned the bathroom, and after that, then we just basically sat in the house. We didn't really go anywhere.
yeah, yeah.
And that went through
Well,
all the way through high school. That's not just, elementary.
well, I grew up on a cul-de-sac, and I was a tomboy, and Crystal, Crystal. We were basically the only two assistant girls in the neighborhood. I think Sue moved in at some point and whatnot, but we were close to the same age, and so I didn't always want to play Barbie. I bobbed all my Barbie's hair. I
Yeah.
often gave bobs. I was I wasn't a huge fan of Barbie.
I didn't even
So
have a Barbie.
well, my mother was upset because some of them were my sister's Barbies, so they were older Barbies, and I bobbed them all. To me. They all looked alike when I was
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. So, And she let me play until the streetlights came on. And then getting that back, just, she didn't enjoy. And
Right.
then when the family went through the divorce and the custody battle, not me not being at home, especially when my dad had custody of me, was really, I felt safer not being there with him. I
Sure.
felt safer at other neighbor's house than his. Everyone just, let me come in. So, and then when she finally got full custody of me when I was 10,
Yeah.
um, yeah, she was working the 3 jobs and stuff. The seahorses occupied my time. Being in the water occupied my time. They were healthy habits. I wasn't doing meth. I've never done a drug in my day. And
I mean, that's good. I mean, anybody else probably they would have turned that way, you know. They probably would have turned to drugs just to escape.
yeah, and I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people do, especially in this day and age. I don't ever like the idea of not ever having full control.
Well, that's good. At
And
least you didn't fall down that hole.
yeah, so but I entertained myself in other ways. Partly why I joined band. It was I was busy.
Yeah.
I was on the wall. I was in bands. I mean, I was busy and it kept me busy and didn't hurt me in any way. If anything, it gives you more work ethic and values because of how it's run. But yeah, I mean, when I tell people I was a good girl, no, I was a good girl.
Yeah.
you know, when the cops come to get you from your house, take you to your mom's house, and then it's court ordered that the cops take you back to your dad's house. Every time Largo police would show up, yeah, it was scary for me, and
Sure.
I didn't anymore that, and I didn't want to cause my mom any more heartache, and I did not want to give my dad any reason to fight for any more custody of me. I wanted him to leave me alone. So
Right.
I was a girl. I could hear him in court. If I did something wrong, she can't control her. She needs to come live with me. She won't be doing that with me. I mean, I could hear. I mean, my God, we got her ears pierced, and he called his attorney. I mean, he was just like that. She got her ears pierced without asking my permission, and the attorneys are like, "I don't need your permission." I mean,
Yeah.
this is going to court. He made the call. He wanted it to. He wanted it to be an issue. So I was a good girl. I didn't want any issues. I just wanted to be.
It's almost like you just, you want to disappear. You want nobody to come
You,
and look at you.
you do.
Yeah.
You do. I just left alone. I just, I had a few close friends. They knew some of it, and I didn't go around bragging or looking for attention. My dad abused me. I don't, it's. I say it now. I'm still not looking for attention. It was a long time
Yeah.
ago. He said, I'm okay. I don't dwell on it, and it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's my mind or how strong-minded I am or whatever you may call it. I don't let that dictate my life. I don't use that as a crutch for my life.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's very good.
Um, some people never let that go.
No, some people don't let it go, and that's I think where like, we said earlier that they fall down that rabbit hole and then they turn to drugs or turn to doing something bad and then their life just ends up not being what maybe they foresaw it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, drugs is not even a band-aid.
No, definitely
You know,
not.
it's just not. It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for me. It does not appeal to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, many other things appeal to me. That's not one of them.
No, I'm like you. Like I have to have control over my life. Like I cannot have that feeling of loss of control. I'm very similar when it comes to that um, with you.
So do you think that's from your childhood and not to be one of those people that's like, well, that comes from your childhood? You're scarred for life. you, you didn't have control over your childhood. You weren't allowed to do anything. So
Right.
I know for me, my childhood was spinning out of control because I had a mom who never, she didn't verbally fight my dad. There were times he would be inches screaming from her face, I'm going to blow your effing brains out. And she would not say a word. She would just stay there, not show an emotion, and she would just take it. And I remember walking out of my bedroom door to that. And and my sister's going, I didn't know you ever witnessed something like that. And well, you weren't there. So how would you know?
Right. Yeah.
Uh, you weren't there. And so I know for me, I didn't have a say in my childhood. My dad was an alcoholic. He ruined it for everybody.
Right.
And my mom stayed as long as she could because, well, she didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom. She had nothing. She had no money. He controlled the money. You go to the store, here's this much money. That's all you get. You need gas, that's this. Everything was very controlled. So for me, I have to have control of myself. I can't control everyone around me, which I've learned, but I have to have control of myself. So
Man, I
because,
wish I can control people around me. That would be the best thing ever. But no, you're
well,
absolutely right. You can't. There's no control over that.
no. So for me, I can only control me. So do you think because of your childhood and the fact that you weren't allowed to do anything or have a life, that you have to control every aspect of it that you can to this day?
I think so. I think that has played a role through my adult life too, as well. I think it's if I have more control over things, things don't seem to get away from me. Um, being also the oldest um, in a Lebanese family, you're expected to do things differently than your brother or your sister or any other siblings. Um, so there's a lot of expectations that come from being a part of that type of family. So I think, yes, I think a lot of it stems from my childhood for sure. Um, my mom was the controlling one in the family, believe it or not. My father was always at work. She was the mean one. If we did anything wrong, she would follow us with the belt or the shoe. And that's how things were done back then. So,
I think I was spanked once by my dad my whole entire life, which is funny because he was physically and verbally abusive, but like literally punished, spanked once. I had a fear and a respect, and especially what I did in my childhood with the divorce and stuff, that um, just not that I was a perfect angel either. I mean, I got away with a few things. Sometimes I didn't, but I never did it real horrific or anything like that. So, um,
yeah.
but my mother did have a wooden spoon. The old Italian wooden spoon, she had that.
My God, I got that too, but it wasn't Italian, it was Lebanese. But mainly it was my father's belt, because I guess I don't know. To us, the man is like the big head honcho. I don't believe in any of that crap, but that's what you're conditioned to believe, okay? That, he runs the show and he's this and he's that. And I've come to see like in my life that, men are only good for one thing from my perspective, and that's just to give you children and that's great. Um But
It's so
to my mom at the time, she was, the wife. She did go to work while my dad stayed home for a little while. He had an accident at the time, so he had to stay home, and she did work in the evening time. He would have to send us to school in the morning, and of course, he doesn't know how to do any of that stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah, because
Oh
she
my God.
did everything.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. She didn't have to send you to school. It's like packing the lunch. My mom being Italian, everything was home cooked. Sauce every day. Every meal was home cooked.
Yeah, same, same.
So I still kind of do some of that. I don't really like to cook. I love to bake. So I do all my baking from scratch.
Yes.
And when I cook, I do from obviously scratch, But I don't like to cook. I don't enjoy it anymore. But I remember TV dinners in the middle.
Oh
In
my
the
God,
little,
I do remember. Actually, I wanted one.
who didn't? What are these? So my dad always grilled whatever my mom prepared during the day that was going to go on the grill. If something was going on the grill, he would come home and
Sure.
grill. So here he is. My mom has been gone long, and he's going to cook a meal on the grill. So you know what I did? I was thinking about because someone was mentioning TV dinners in the old metal back when they first came out.
Yes.
Is he cooking on the grill?
That's crazy.
Yeah. That ironically is the night that my middle sister, Colette, who's no longer with us, and her friends, the Lashua brothers, were trying to kidnap me through the bedroom window, and I was throwing clothes out the window.
Oh my gosh.
So she could take me, I don't know where,
Yes.
but she's getting me out of Dad's house, and and I was game, so I was throwing clothes out the window.
Right, right. You're like,
Caught
okay,
us.
let's go. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
I don't care. And he caught us, but I remember that day is associated with that damn TV dinner being cooked on a grill.
Yes. Oh my God, that's funny.
Isn't
I
that
always,
funny?
my mom is the same way as you. Like we always had home cooked food. And I think it was like a treat once in a while to like go out maybe to Burger King or
It was
maybe like get pizza or something like that. But and that was very far and few between.
very far
Um,
between thankful
yeah.
for a lot. But I remember they're getting Kentucky Fried Chicken and bringing it home.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And I've
that's
always
big.
wanted one of those TV dinners. I was like, hey, like, why can't we eat that? And my mom would be, what? You can't eat that. That's junk. That's junk. We don't eat junk. Okay, mom.
My, that was my dad's effort. That was my dad's effort. Because
Yeah.
she from scratch and he
Well,
didn't.
he didn't know. He didn't know what to do. How does he know
He
what to
could
do?
throw whatever she marinated during the day on the grill, but I just remember him with those
Yeah,
mitts
it's
and he's
just,
and I'm just looking at him like, really? I want my
you know,
mom.
exactly. I want my mom. Exactly. Well, back in the day, the woman was always expected to, take care of the house and do everything in the house, and the man just goes to work and then comes home, and his support is basically just money. That's about it. And sometimes, like I don't know, we would hardly ever see my father because he would come home so late. And we would be asleep already because we were ready to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
Um, so we barely got to see my dad. And yeah, so my mom was the main one, and I think I get a lot of the strength from her though, because I
Oh,
saw
absolutely.
that she had to do everything.
Yes.
So,
And my mom, I started doing my laundry at age 10. It was one
yeah,
less thing I had to worry about. So if I wanted to wear it, I had to wash it.
yes,
Yeah. So, there were many times that I could cook myself a meal at age 10 or 11 because she was working 3 jobs and whatever she had, I could make something and she knew I'd be fine and I didn't care. You
right,
know, at that age, after going through all of that, all I know and remember thinking is I just wasn't stuck in the house with him. So I'm good.
right, exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
So whatever, you know, it just,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, family dynamics. What are you gonna do? You gotta basically survive.
you do. You do. And sometimes you look at them and you're just like, really? We're related genetically? I'm just not sure.
I know, right? Exactly. That's exactly sometimes what I think.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm pretty sure the story dropped my oldest sister off.
Yeah,
This looks like a good spot. I'm just gonna drop her.
Right?
What will be, will be.
Absolutely, 100%.
As harsh as that sounds, um, I don't miss her.
Well, I
I'm not.
mean, it's not
There
that
was no
hard.
relation. I mean, she watched me to help my mom, but she never is like, let's go to a movie together. Let's go shopping together. Let's go do this fun thing together. I always felt like that third wheel. You
Right,
know,
right.
it was not a sisterly relationship.
Sure, of
So
course.
she needs to like take a hard look in the mirror. The world does not just revolve around you, my dear.
Right, exactly, exactly. It does not. I kind of took a role of being like a mom to my brother because we're 10 years apart. So when he was born, I was basically like watching him and feeding him and changing his diapers and things like that. So when he grew up and everything and he was um I don't want to say he was violent or anything like that. He was just in that depressive mode to where the point where it did, transpire to some kind of domestic problem. Um,
Okay.
just to think back, like, why would you treat me like that? Like, I was everything to you. Like, I changed your diaper, I fed you, I bathe you sometimes. I don't know, I put you to bed. You know what I mean? So I mean, he's not gonna know. He knows all that because I told him all that, but he's not gonna know all that. I don't know. I just don't get it. It hurt me, that he would do something
Oh,
like
well, yeah, and no one here is bashing anyone, but men are wired very differently than women,
that. Yes.
and we look at and analyze things differently. I don't know if it's because we're just generally more maternal. We have the
Probably.
baby,
Yeah,
and so there's
probably.
a connection to being maternal. And
I think we zone
and
in on many different emotions, like we have many different emotions
we
where men only like zone in on whatever emotion is happening at the time.
yeah, and he knows. Usually, in most cases, they know whoever they is, and on the side, whether it's brother or whoever, cousin, they know what they've done and said, and at some point, as they grow up and mature and older, there'll be a different type of an apology or a different type of conversation.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah,
don't know. Maybe I just haven't reached that yet. So,
I don't think they have. I think he's been feeling better long enough.
yeah.
Okay, I think he still has a ways to go,
Oh, he does
and
have a ways to go, but
I
thank God that he went and got help because
that's that's the first step. It's
definitely.
you have mental illness, it changes who you are. And with that being said, I know people who know they have a mental illness, but I don't want to be dependent on a medication. Well, now you're choosing to be a jerk.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
choosing to
Exactly.
be verbally and physically abusive.
Yeah.
If at any time you said to another relative or something, I need help, give me the name or phone number of a doctor, or give me, whatever,
Yeah.
and you test that first step and you choose to continue your path, it is on you.
Yeah,
If you know that you need help and you don't seek it, and you know you're horrible to everyone else, and then you sit there and just say sorry, but then keep repeating the
well,
same
because you're
action.
not sorry. You're just saying sorry because that's something that you're supposed to say or that's something you're supposed to do. So
Correct.
technically, deep inside, no, you're really not sorry.
You're going through the motions.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Yeah,
And what we really,
he's got a little ways to go still. He still has to go through therapy and all of that stuff. I mean, he's definitely a lot better than he was before. At least now, he's getting back into life stuff. I told him like, the kids need him. The kids need him. And they want a parent who's there. They don't want a parent who's absent. So, hopefully he gets the help that he needs.
they need the parent to be there.
Yeah, well, he used to do the same thing that you were just saying. Like he would take his pills and then he would feel good and then he'd be like, "Well, I don't need these. What do I need these for?"
Yeah, I know, and it's amazing how many people in life, whether it's mental health or you have a thyroid problem, all that stuff is for life.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
and there's no shame in it.
No,
It's a
there's
shame
no shame in it at all.
yourself though, and you hurt the ones you love, and you keep doing it
Yeah.
when you know better. You know,
Oh, well, that's another thing cultural wise. I know I keep going back to cultural, but
well,
culturally we were taught that, oh, if you go get help or if you seek therapy or anything like that, that you're crazy. So why would you do something like that? Stigmatism. It's the stigma.
it is. And my mom, she really suffered from depression and stuff. And like I said, she never got over the divorce, the abuse, the years of abuse, verbal and physical.
Yeah.
And as I got older and stuff and realized what was going on with her, I offered to pay for therapy, and she said no. I said, I'll pay for someone to come to the house. She said no. I said, but why? When you know you need something. And
Right.
she said pride. Her pride.
That's a big thing. It has a lot to do with their pride too, definitely.
That
Definitely.
generation, we don't talk about anything,
No.
and we don't. I mean, I found out things about my parents into my mid to late 20s that I never knew, and my older sisters knew, and rightfully, I get it, they were older, but come on, I lived it. They didn't live the stuff I lived
Right. No, they
because
didn't.
I'd been married for however many years. She got married when she was 19, and I don't know how many years she was married at that point.
Yeah.
And my middle sister was able to legally leave and go stay with friends because they knew what was going on. They didn't have to deal with how is today going to be once I get out of this bed. How is he going to be? Is it going to be a good day, an okay day, or am I walking on eggshells all day? I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't live it.
No,
They didn't.
they didn't. And I'm sure that puts a lot of anxiety, like I can only imagine like having to wake up and you have to be like full of anxiety. Like what day is it going to be like today?
So my house on Palm Drive felt like home to me. My mom was there, and at one point, all three of us were there. And when my mom left and my sisters were gone, that totally changed.
Yeah.
I did not feel like that was home. And I was very insistent that I go live with my mom on the beach. I did not want to be there. I felt like I was in some strange person's home.
Sure.
It totally energy of the house. I was very comfortable there at one point, and all of a sudden I was not.
Yes.
And I didn't want to be there. I did not want to be there. And I felt very much left behind at times, because I was,
Yeah.
you know. But no one talked about anything. And my dad certainly didn't. Um, and he wasn't one that you would want to talk to, anyways.
Yeah.
My mom, to some degree, felt like she was protecting me because I was the baby.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah,
did
that's
me.
something we have in common. That's the same thing on my side too. Like your parents just didn't talk to you about anything. Nobody thought that they should talk about it. So everybody was hush hush or throw it under the rug and like if you
Pretend it
don't
didn't.
yeah, pretend it didn't happen. If you don't see it, that's it. Never occurred.
Yep. Yep. And so I've always tried to be different with my children.
Yeah, same
Sometimes,
here, definitely.
oh my God. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, I don't
It's
know.
hard. It's hard.
Family relationships are not easy. I
Definitely not
always was
easy.
envious the ones you see on TV. Everyone's happy. They're making dinner together. You know?
Yes.
And my family's like, if you keep talking, I'm going to cram this down your throat. You know?
Yeah, definitely it was. It's not Hollywood up in here, so
No, it is not.
definitely
And
not.
I wish that she had talked to me more and
Yes.
taught me more things. I would have probably been a little more unique at that age in the sense that I would have listened because I had lived through what I had lived through.
Yes.
You know, not the same mentality of my parents don't know anything. Well, I know she knows some things because we just went through this kind of together, you know, and had to deal with this together.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I wish she kind of had. But it is what it is. It's over with. It's been over with for a long time. I essentially do not have any immediate family really, but my children. Do dogs count?
Dogs count. You're a fur mommy.
I am a fur mommy,
Yes,
and yeah,
absolutely.
um,
Dogs do count.
you know, and I have my close girlfriends, which I consider family, and that's it. That's it.
Yes,
I've learned.
sometimes it's not about the abundance of family that you have. It's just a
No,
matter of
it's the
who you have.
quality.
Yes.
It's quality. It's definitely the quality. That comes with friends. That comes with everything. It's definitely the quality.
Yeah.
I actually do not feel like I'm missing out on a whole bunch of anything. I have little moments, you know,
Everybody, yeah, it's normal. That's
uh,
gonna
not often, not often.
happen.
Um, you know, maybe a little more so at the holiday time because my mom loved
Yes.
Christmas and the tree decorating, so that's something I love, and I do. I have two trees, and yeah, but I just have these little moments like I remember when
Sure.
you had to get your teeth straight, you know. I mean, do they make tinsel anymore? I don't even
No, they
know.
do. They do. They do. I
Just
bought
wait,
some for here.
you know. So I have little moments where I like miss that family dynamic, but it's not. It's really not much. I have had some of the best memories with you and other friends and whatnot, and I really don't feel like I'm missing out on much.
Well, that's
And
that's
I
great. That's awesome.
and I've learned I value my alone time.
Yeah.
You know, I talk to patients all day long, 40 hours a week. I talk to patients, and I have to answer and deal, and so I have learned weekends and alone time are some of my very favorite times. Where it's just me and the
Oh,
dog.
yes, definitely. Well,
Not all the
I live in a house with a bunch of people. So I live with my brother, his wife, their four kids, my dad, and then my mom when she was here, when she was alive. And
and that's
so yeah, that's a crazy house. That's what I
but
call
it's
it.
kind of cultural though too, isn't it?
What is it?
Isn't it kind of cultural for your family to live
Oh,
together like
yes. Yeah, yeah. You don't leave the house until you're married. And my brother, even though he is married, he chose to stay together. So he was given the option if he wanted to go and get his own house, they could, but he was close to my parents, he was close to my mom and stuff like that, and my dad. And culturally, yes, we stayed together. So he chose to. Of course, I never left because, well, I left now, but I never left before because it was an obligation for me to take care of my parents. They took care of me my whole life. It was my turn to pay it back. And that's how traditionally, we are, and that's how we live. So,
and that's definitely a cultural thing because at what point are you supposed to have your own life? Or is that
yeah.
not in your culture?
No, you do have your own life. However, it's not, well, no, maybe I can't say that you do have your own life because to be honest with you, the only way you leave is if you get married, and then it's still not your own life because now you have a husband. So yeah, no, you don't have a life.
and you're still taking care of someone. You
Yeah.
know, well, you did get your own apartment.
Yes, I did. I got my own apartment. When I'm 50, I got my own apartment.
You were 49 and 3/4.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me that. But yeah, so I mean that's a good step, you know. And it's my little humble abode and you know, I go in there and when I want to relax and I don't hear all the hustle bustle from the kids and from everything. Although I do want to say that I do miss them at times because I get so used to that environment.
You're used to it, yeah. So you're going to miss some of that at times. I would imagine it's an adjustment period. I think probably you would adjust a little more. I mean, you're still going to miss them at times, no matter what. But you know, it's no different than me missing my daughter and my grandson. You
Yeah.
know, I try to
Yeah.
with them once a week. They're getting ready to, I think, move a little further northish, and so that's going to put them like a little over an hour away, not as far away as when they were in Orlando. So
Yeah.
I won't be seeing them weekly,
Yeah.
which with Pascale, he grows and changes so much that I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna miss that dinner with her and that time with him, you know.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
and you have to go on and have your own life, and you want them to have their own life. You want them to grow and thrive and fly on their own, so to speak. And
Yeah,
so
definitely. To be honest with you, I never would have imagined that I would be like, oh my God, I have my own place. Like this would have never like happened. I would have stayed and remained at home, you know? Um,
well, but you should be proud of yourself.
yes, yeah, definitely. That was a big step for me, believe it or not. It was a big step. Because I almost feel like it's almost a feeling of abandonment, like I've abandoned my family as well.
I get that, but they are adults.
Yes, we are adults, and I keep saying the same thing, you know, to myself though. I don't often feel that it's a sense of abandonment, but you know, your
You
first
have
thought when you
to
get your own thing, you know, you feel like you're leaving your family, like the family you've known for like your whole entire life. Yeah. So it was a little scary, but you know what? Hey, I'm good with it.
it just changes. It evolves. It has
Yeah,
to.
and it has to. Exactly. It has to. What am I going to be like stuck in that position the whole entire time? No.
I mean, I think that you are adventurous, outgoing. I think that because well, the restaurant life is very draining and it's pretty much 7 days a week for you. And then you
Yeah.
have this other responsibility of the family. You have to find some time to be Pascal. You know, you own a restaurant, running it. Well, there's a lot of people that rely on you to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Not just yourself, but you have the staff, and they rely on you to bring in the business to keep putting out the food so they get paid to pay the bills. And that's a huge, huge responsibility. I don't know that I ever want that responsibility. And then on
I'm
top of it, you have to babysit everyone in the restaurant. This one's
Oh my
angry at
God, yes.
this one said this one about that one, you know,
My gosh.
and all that stuff. And then, you know, you're dealing with all those personalities. And so, yeah, I mean, it's hard. And then you have to go home, and then you're just dealing with that. And for me, while I love having the kids around and stuff like that, I also love that downtime just to completely unplug and
Oh
not have
yeah,
any.
that's very important to me nowadays. It's super
Yeah,
important to me. Like, I mean, you said it all in like this paragraph. Like, it's having that quiet time for yourself to just think for a second. It means it's worth more than $1 million, to be honest with you.
oh, it's priceless. It's
Yeah.
priceless. It's for your own sanity. So, I mean, you're at work, which is demanding. Then you go home, and there's been many times I've talked to you on the phone late at night, and you're like picking up the kids' toys and stuff. It's like you need to just not do. The kids need to pick up their own toys, and you need to just go have a drink on the couch.
Exactly. No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I
you
can
need
have
to.
a drink on the couch now. It's my
You
couch.
can. Your couch. That's right. And I'm a little jealous, by the way. But anyway,
Oh, that's okay. There's a place for you. Now, come on,
oh, I need to get that apartment so I have a place to go to.
Yes, yes.
A little self-serving.
Well, I got a second bedroom, so I have two bedrooms. So I did that on purpose, in case any one of you guys would like to come and visit and stuff. I'd have a place for you guys. So it wasn't just for me,
Well,
but, bec-
do
huh?
that one day. I am going to do that one day.
Yes, please do that one day. I'll
There's
take a break from the restaurant.
a restaurant down here.
Yes, yes. Well, yeah, right. Well, right now, yes, I have to think about coming down there first. So, yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to need.
Well, that's okay. I'll have my own apartment down there. I'll have my own house down there, and then that house will be like your house. So there you go.
Like an extension, we'll call it that.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be the start of our Golden Girl house. You know what I mean?
Girl.
Yeah, because I think that, like, in our group, I'm the only one that's single, so I think that would be good. So let's start it out.
Day's not over, my dear. The day's not over.
I know. But yeah, so it is what it is. What are you gonna do? That's just how life is, and we each have our moments in our life, and that brought us to, or that made us who we are today. So, the
Getting
good, the
through
bad,
things.
the ugly, the great, the happiness, the moving forward, things like that. So, always got to stay positive, even when life is trying to bring your ass down. You better stand up.
I know, and you gotta, and because I work in the medical, and you too have worked in medical, there's always someone that has it worse than you.
Definitely. Yeah.
And usually those, the ones that I've known that have had it way worse, what I've ever gone through, are some of the most happiest, pleasant people
Oh,
I
yes.
have ever hold their head high and just like, this is what I've been dealt and I got to deal with it. And I'm just sitting there going, I don't have words. I have no words. I don't even know what to
Yeah.
say.
No, exactly.
I
Yeah.
deal with everything you deal with.
Yeah.
But there are times where, many times in my life, as growing up the way I did, and then even as an adult in my current life, that I thought, man, this is just a shit show. So,
Oh, yes, I
I
know.
didn't sign up for any of this. I just wanted to have a roof over my head, some meals, a few trips a year, and pay my bills and save for retirement. I just, I
Yeah. There
didn't.
were some days I felt like you. I felt like asking God, like, why was I born to this family? Why couldn't I be born to any other family?
Yeah. What did I
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, well, exactly. But, that's it. It's life. What are you going to do?
It is. It is.
So we have a lot more to talk about, and
Always.
we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about our children and our extended families as well. Um,
Yes.
so maybe we'll save some of that for our next episode.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Yes. This is fun. It's always fun chatting with you.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I love
My,
it. It's 2 a.m. Woohoo! 2 a.m.
is it? Where is it? Really?
It is. It's
Oh
2
my.
a.m.
Yes, it is. Well, this is how we're at this age.
Yes, absolutely. Just
We
anyway, I'm
tried.
an all-nighter. I'm an all-nighter. I hate waking up in the morning. I'm an all-nighter, so I'm good.
I'm mixed. I don't like getting up early. I like my sleeping in time, but I don't like going to bed early either.
Yeah.
But kind of a mix. Like I generally on Fridays and Saturdays go to bed between midnight and 2.
Yeah,
During the week, I'm in bed by 11 because I have to get up and go work.
sure.
And I like my sleep, so it's balance. Find the
Yeah,
balance,
right.
But this is what we do when you hit 50. You decide to try to record a whole podcast.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you
Lifelong
do.
friend at 2 in the morning. I'm
Hey, and I'm
scared.
okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I am too. I don't feel like I'm getting, and that's for sure. It's definitely more enhancing than anything else. And, she's in Pennsylvania and I'm in Florida, and this is how we stay in touch.
This is how we do it.
Our lifelong friendship. This is how we do it.
Oh my gosh, it is a lifelong friendship, forever friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm younger than you by a month.
Okay, all right.
In fifth grade, my birthday's in summer, in June. So I was the youngest in the class.
Yes.
So, I was, well, in 83, I was 10 in June of 83. So school was out back then in the beginning of June. So I'm a month younger.
Yeah.
Point that out. And it's I forget where I was going with that. It's 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning. It's okay. It's not a problem. But yeah, we have a lot more to talk about. And
well, how old were we when that? Because do you remember? You don't remember what month you came to Winona? Was it the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I think it was the beginning of the year. I think we had moved over there in the summertime. So I know it was like in August when I first started third grade.
So like all through kindergarten, I was 5.
Yeah.
And then I turned 6 in the summer, and all through first grade, I was 6. And then I turned 7 for second grade, so I was 8. So you would have turned 9 in May.
Yep, I would have already been.
That year, I would have been 9 a month later in the summer.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to figure out what year you came in, and we were already in school.
Yes.
But I don't think we were that far into school.
No, we weren't that far into school yet. No. It was the beginning. It was right at the beginning because I remember going in there. I think I remember in one of the classes that the teacher was like introducing me.
Yes.
As a new student.
I remember that.
Yeah, as a new student. And that's when we became friends.
Yes.
Yes.
So pretty much lifelong friends because that was a long time ago.
We don't want to talk about how long that was.
That was early 80s. That was, so in 83 I would have turned 10. So if I was 8.
Yes. Okay, we're not talking about that anymore.
That topic is done.
Yeah. But no, that's great. And I hope and I know I don't have to hope. I know that our friendship is going to last for many, many more years. And and I hope we have a lot of adventures and a lot of fun doing those adventures in the future.
Oh, absolutely we will, because you and I are a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're a lot of fun. We like to have a good time.
Yes, I think so. I think we do.
Yeah.
We do have a good. Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going with that whole thing and living with your brother and stuff and the whole family dynamics. It hasn't allowed you a lot of freedom between the restaurant and that.
Yeah.
Truly just escape.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm going to do that for Italy though.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. Every year we got to make it a point to go somewhere and that's it. And I don't care if I have to shut this place down for a week or a week and a half or whatever it is, it's getting shut down. And,
life's too short. We've
it
all
is.
learned that as milestone birthday.
Yeah.
There's not really any milestones after this.
No.
It's not like you're waiting to turn 21 to drink. We're way beyond.
But let's wait till I turn 70 so I can wear a diaper. Yay!
I was just say, how old is it for Medicare?
I don't know exactly. I have no idea.
I don't know what the age is now.
I don't know. It's gonna keep creeping up. By the time we get there, it'll probably be like 85.
I really insulted to get all that AARP stuff in the mail right before my birthday. By the way, I just want to put that out there.
Oh my gosh!
After the person turns 50, before.
I know. I keep getting AARP stuff in the mail, and I'm like, what the hell is happening right now?
It, I know it was daily. It was
Yes,
daily.
yes, it's crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
But
So,
anyway, so yeah,
yes, it's been fun. Um,
yes, it's been wonderful, and looking forward to our next episode. And hope you guys can join us on our next episode as well. And, we'll figure out what we're going to discuss in the future. Yes?
we're always looking, taking recommendations, and you can find us on Facebook, Girlfriend Net.
Yes, definitely. Leave us some comments. And definitely we'll take a look at them and check you guys out next time.
Absolutely.
All right. Everyone have a great night or a good morning.
And good morning and a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Yes, yes. All righty.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So